Today, we observe the first Sunday of Pride Month in our country and around the world. And because of who we are here, our congregation takes the extra step of making sure people who are LGBT, questioning, and queer know that they are welcome here, wanted here, invited here, and loved. Think of what that means for any group who has been marginalized or felt the pain of acts of violence against them simply because of who they were. Think of what it means and give thanks for who we are. This is the place where God is love, and you are welcome.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Barbara. I'm a 75-year-old transgender woman. I was assigned male at birth, and I prefer using the pronouns she, her, and hers. I am the board member of Gender Equality New York, also known as Jenny, and I'm also the chairperson of the Long Island Transgender Day of Remembrance Committee. In the month of November, the committee honors those transgender folks who were murdered in the past year. It seems like every year we're breaking records. Last year, 44 souls were lost. This year, already 27, and it's not even the middle of the year, so do the math. In 2019, we had our best attended TDOR right here in this church. It was nearly filled shoulder to shoulder, and I thank you all for attending that event. As I mentioned, I've had a couple of titles, but none more important than the title of being a Christian woman and to profess my love of God with all my heart. He saved my life during my dark days. Those days when I was asked to leave my home, my wife, my children, and the rest of my family for good. That day, January 1, 2008, was the day that I looked around in the apartment and saw that I was truly alone. I reached near bottom, and I say near bottom because bottom could have been a disaster. I struggled to even this day. That no one in my family accepts me for who I am. In fact, my middle child hasn't spoken to me in about 9 years. And for the other two, I have to cross-dress back as a male in order to be in their company, in their homes, or to see my grandchildren. And that's becoming harder and harder because my body has changed, and it's very difficult to suddenly have a flat chest. But this is typical in the transgender world. For them, it's hard to let go. It's not easy to be trans. Who in their right mind would want to be laughed at, ridiculed, berated, and be put into a position of possibly being bullied, beaten, or killed? But this was the cards I was dealt. I use this analogy sometimes. How do you feel, all of you, naked, alone, on a beach, with no outside influences whatsoever? How do you feel about you? When I put myself in that position on that beach, I didn't like myself. I'd go so far as to say I hated myself. So how did this happen? In simple terms, when you are conceived, your body starts to form. At some point, there is a hormonal wash that the brain tells the rest of the body who you are. In my case, a little bit of an error. So who do you blame? Mom? Dad? God? God made me this way, and I'm a firm believer that God doesn't make junk, and I am not junk. We are all different. We are all different, but we're all the same. We are human. God made us this way. My blood is as red as yours. Think of it as being right-handed or left-handed, and nobody cares. Remember, and I mean this, the only thing that's normal is the setting on your dryer. That's the absolute truth. So what do transgender people want? We want the same thing you want. Nothing special. 2 words: respect and acceptance. It's not a big deal, yet people hate us. The laws in many states go out of their way to discriminate against us. Why? What have we done? Everything you are is in your brain. Your arms, your legs are only tools to feed you and walk from one place to another. It's all controlled by your brain. It's not what's between your legs that defines you. It's between your ears. Quick story. In People magazine, April 11th, 2011 edition, a story titled A Life Worth Living. It's a story about a woman, Kate Hayes, 42 years old, who gave birth to her 3rd child. Hours after giving birth, she was seized by an unbearable abdominal pain. She had contracted a raging bacterial infection that would literally consume her. It was a rare form of strep. While at the hospital, she slipped into a coma. The doctor said the only way to save her was to perform massive quadruple amputation to remove both her arms and her legs. How unbelievable could this be? They performed the surgery, and she lived. Can you imagine? She could not embrace her children or her husband, to hold them close and feel their warmth. She was just a trunk and a head. The point I'm trying to make here is even without these tools, these arms and legs, is she any less a woman? As I mentioned, everything you are is in your brain. Transgender people are just a little different. but who we are is in our brain, just like you. Again, it's the same as being right-handed or left-handed. It's the way God created us. Being transgender is not a choice. What I chose is to survive. The month of June has been proclaimed Pride Month. This month is when trans visibility is at its best. Now, some people say that they are proud to be transgender, and that's fine. For me, I'm proud that I made it this far in my life. I would have much preferred being born all male or all female, but I don't regret a thing. So if you happen to meet a transgender man or woman, hello, anywhere in walking around, be nice as you would with anybody else, because we are all God's children, and God never turned anybody away. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.